So we all know the first Legends and Flashbacks collection is coming to MLB The Show 25 on April 25th, this Friday, it being a new legend. But we don't really know exactly what to expect with each series and how many cards we're going to get, strictly because we haven't had one of these in 3 years, really, ever since MLB The Show 22. So today I'm going to be going through every single card series and telling you guys what to expect, how many cards you'll need, how much it's going to cost, who you should be buying, because these are specific players that will go up a lot, just to prepare for this collection because it will be a doozy. So let's get into it. Starting off with rookies, I think rookie is going to be pretty simple. I mean, if you look at this, there are only 11 cards. I think you're going to need 10. They're not going to make this a layup because all these cards are either cheap live series collections or easy cards that you get from grinding, besides the Fernando Valenzuela and the David Justice. So I think they're going to make this 10 out of 11. And, one thing too is that when I tell you guys like the cost that I've come up with, and I'm going to show you guys my literal Excel sheet at the end of this video. Yes, it does factor in how much it costs to get the live series card. So I'm not going to say a David Justice costs 0 stubs because it doesn't. But yeah, so I have rookie at around 59,000 stubs, and that is pretty much just all these gold live series collections and this Braves live series collection. So if you already have collections done, this is going to be free. Breakout is going to be pretty similar to rookie. There are only 9 breakout cards in the game right now. Most of these are cards that you just get from grinding the game, although there are a few on the market. But I think that this is going to be pretty similar to rookie. I think you're going to need 8 out of the 9 cards, so almost all of them. Now, the cheapest way of doing this would be to skip the Royals collection if you don't have collections done. If you do this, it'll cost around 60,000 stubs, maybe a little more than that if you don't have any of these players in your inventory already. That's the thing too with the cost. When I created the cost, it factors in everything: how much it costs to get a live series collection done, how much it costs to buy a multiplayer program guy. So you could just get these guys already, and you could have grinded the game and gotten them for free, but I wanted to factor it in case you didn't get it or you didn't sell it. But breakout seems pretty simple. I would say around like 60K. Veteran is going to be a little more challenging. So there are 25 veteran cards in the game. Obviously, we have the commons and bronzes and silvers from Team Affinity and the XP Reward Path guys. Those are all pretty simple. This is pretty similar to rookie and veteran in all honesty, just the quantity is higher. I have it at 22 out of 25 as my prediction. Now, if you're going to do that, you're going to need some of these collections because, there's a BR card and all these are golds from Team Affinity, but you're going to need like the Tigers collection or the A's collection, or, these are all Team Affinity. Like, it's basically these 4 diamonds that are going to be the main cards that challenge this one. But like, if you already have collections done, this one should be literally no stubs. Like, you won't have to buy anyone. Now, All-Star is probably going to be the one that most people skip, and it will be the one that I skip, assuming they allow a skip. In previous years, they've had one collection. You can skip one voucher and you get the collection reward. I think this is going to be the one for me, unless a stipulation happens, which I'll get into later. But regardless, All-Star is going to be super expensive. There are so many chase cards. There are XP Reward Path guys, ranked season rewards. These are 2 weekend classic cards. Moving down the line too, you have a bunch of other guys from collections and headliners and multiplayer. There's just a lot in All-Star. I have All-Star at around 325K. Yeah, it's a lot. Now, this is one of many series that I am not sure what to think. Now, one thing too is the reason why I'm in the inventory tab and not the collections tab is because not all the card series have a collection currently in the collections tab, and I think that's going to change. I think most of them will get one. Awards, I'm not too sure. Now, I will say this and this goes for awards for signature, for prime, milestone, and Hall of Fame, because all those only have 1 card except for awards. Awards has 2. In MLB The Show 21, in the Mariano Rivera collection, the first collection, they had a signature voucher, and there were 2 signature series cards in the game. It was 99 David Ortiz, who is the AL collection, and 96 Kyle Seager, who was a World Series award they dropped 3 days before the content update, and you needed both for the voucher. Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me if they put a voucher in awards and you needed both of them, or you only needed one. But I also wouldn't be shocked if they skipped awards strictly because it's the NL Central award and the American League reward, and that is, that's a lot of stubs. Postseason, this one should be pretty simple. I think it's just going to be 6 out of 7. I mean, you have Manny Ramirez, who's dirt cheap. You have Ryan Howard, who's a Phillies collection, so that's going to be a little expensive, but Live Series prices have dropped because of the flash sale. But then you have guys like David Robertson, Rob Nen. I think this Sammy Sosa card is going to be one of the cards that rises the most. I think strictly because if you look at this postseason collection, right? Let's say you need 6 out of 7. You had Manny Ramirez from the program. You have Kike from Team Infinity. Easy collection here. A little challenging, but a simple collection with the Phillies. And then David Robertson is a headliner and he's in pack, so he's going to be pretty cheap. He might rise. This Sammy Sosa card, you're going to need either him or Steve Carlton. And I think, Steve Carlton, people are going to start getting. People are going to want the Sammy Sosa card. So I think he's going to skyrocket. Signature is the same thing as I said for awards. I highly doubt they're going to make the MLB collection one of the vouchers. It's 2 million stubs. I would be shocked if you could lock in a Beltran for a voucher, or you would have to be, you would only, if they make it where you can only skip one and they include Beltran, I would be shocked. Prime is kind of the same thing, but I could actually see them including it strictly because it's a division reward and not the entire MLB collection, being Jason Kipnis. Tops now, I think this one should be pretty simple. I have tops now at 30 out of 38. They're currently 35, but they're going to be 3 more on Friday with the April Spotlight. I will say, these henchmen from the programs, please start buying them now because you're going to need them for this collection. This Crochet is from Diamond Quest, so he's always going to be low in stubs. But you're going to need some of these guys, and they're not in programs anymore. So get to buying these guys because they're going to be expensive. Obviously, everyone below them is free, though. Second half, I think this one's going to be okay. I think 14 out of 17. Now, there are a couple cards that are really expensive, like this Randy Johnson. This Chase Headley is the NL West collection. And Jimmy Rollins he's kind of expensive. Same with Lance Berkman, but they're going to be obtainable in the next multiplayer reset because everyone will be getting the BR Rewind pack. But regardless, I don't think this one's going to be too bad. I think second half is going to be, including all these collections, it'll be expensive at around 270K. But if you have collections done or some of the collections done, it shouldn't be that awful. I think this Ibanez and this Don Sutton are going to be huge because all the other cards are they're cheap. For Milestone, literally the same thing as Prime. It's just one collection from the divisions. I would, be less surprised if they included it than Beltran, but still don't really think it makes sense to just have one card be a voucher. Same thing for Hall of Fame, but I would be more shocked because it's the entire NL. Really don't think they're going to make a one card voucher, when the Hall of Fame collection is over 1 million stubs. Now, Standout is one that I think most people are going to overlook because it's not in the collection tab. And we have a couple Standout cards. These are all collection cards. Paul O'Neill is from the Yankees, Don Baylor is the AL West, and Darren O'Day is the AL East. Definitely get this Bob Gibson. I'm going to probably buy the bosses, just, why not? Or maybe I'll just hold on to one of them. This Bob Gibson is going to be key for this collection. I do think we're going to get a Standout collection. I think we do. We have enough cards here. It's difficult. You have to get one of the divisions done. I'd prefer it to be the East because you get 2 of the cards instead of one of them. But, I could see Bob Gibson, Paul O'Neill, and Darren O'Day giving you that voucher. Now, this was the stipulation I was saying earlier. I'm not sure if they're going to make John Donaldson the voucher for the Negro Leagues or Larry Doby. If they make it John Donaldson, this is probably going to be the one that I skip, and I'm just going to do All-Star and maybe buy 1 or 2 cards. I just don't want to lock into Higo, Satchel Paige, and Josh Gibson. I just don't want to do it when they're going to be 3 gold Negro Leagues players coming out in May 2nd, I think they said, and you can just get it done. If it's just Doby that they require, I'll just do it. And I think you guys should do it because they're all free cards. But if they require Donaldson, I'd probably fade this one. Pipeline, pretty simple. I think they're just going to require Roki Sasaki. It's really not that expensive anymore. It cost you 38,734 stubs, exactly. Pretty cheap. As long as you grind in the programs and the diamond quests, like, this should be pretty simple. Spring Breakout is entirely free. All these cards are from a program or a showdown, and then you collect all 7 to get the Leo Dallas DeVries, or I forgot those. But I mean, this will cost 0 stubs. Just get it done. I'm not entirely sure they're going to include Tokyo in the collection, but I think that they could. You know, these are all cards from one program. Literally just complete that program and you'll be fine for this series. They did do something that has reminded me of this. In MLB The Show 20, they had like 3 gold cover cards in the XP reward path, and they made those in the Trap collection. So that's just what this reminds me of. Just get it done. Don't be lazy. This is another free voucher. Same thing as the pipeline. I think Egg Hunt is just going to be DeGrom. This is a little more expensive. These cards went down a little today because of the challenge packs or whatever. You get an Egg Hunt pack. Egg Hunt is going to be around a little over 100k, so a little more expensive, but you know, not too bad overall. I think one thing that's going to be key is, you know, getting in on these low tier cards now, as they're basically a quick sell. Contributor is going to be interesting because there are a lot of diamonds in this collection. This new Brandon Lau from the Headliners. This is a sick card, but regardless, a lot of these cards are just, you just get from doing Team Affinity or doing like gold collections. Don't think it's going to be that expensive. I think you're going to need almost all of them though. I think Contributor is going to be 25 out of 28. And if you factor in collections that aren't done, it's around 120k. But if you've done most of the collections, this one should be pretty simple. Looking at the last ride, this one, if it works to my predictions and you need 10 out of the 12 cards, you don't need to buy a single card, because the 2 that you would skip would be this Nolan Ryan and this Larry Walker, because he's the Cardinals collection. The Musina and the Ortiz are in a program. This is Diamond, or this is mini seasons, and then the rest are Team Affinity or player programs. This is going to be very easy unless they add cards on Friday into last ride. Now, Jolt, they already put the voucher in the game. It's 15 out of 30. I, of course, have all 30. But if you don't have 15, you know what you need to do. Spotlight is an interesting one because I think they could make a voucher for this one, but they do have their own collections, which are going to come to the game in the beginning of May. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't include it, but also I want to be prepared in case they do. So I have some of these cards. I think that come Friday, when they add another Spotlight card in a program, and all those guys, I think Spotlight is going to be 8 out of 12, which is going to be around 70k, and these cards are going to go up pretty fast if that's the case. Cornerstone, I also wouldn't be surprised if they did not include this, but I mean, these are free cards. This would just be a layup. I think if they were to do this, they would only make it 3 out of 6 for people who just got the game or something. And you know, these cards are, you can't get these cards anymore because you need the silvers from the last XP reward path. So I think 3 out of 6, but regardless, this would be a free voucher. New threads, similarly to Egg Hunt and whatever the pipeline, I think it's just going to be Santander. This one is also not that expensive anymore. It's a little more expensive than pipeline for sure. It's around 85k to do the whole collection, but it, you know, these have been in the game for a while, so most of you guys will have a lot of these cards already in your inventory. This one is going to be a challenge for a lot of people, and I told you guys in my last video about this collection like a few weeks ago that these cards are going to be so expensive and they're going to skyrocket, because for this voucher you're going to need them. You know, all the free cards, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You need all 7 of those for that pack that's in the collection right now. You're going to need probably 3 of these 5 cards to get the voucher, and the only way you can get these cards is on the market, is they're extinct cards. Pretty sure they don't have the bundle anymore in the store. I didn't realize that in that video, but still, regardless, these cards are going to skyrocket, so please buy them. And then lastly, Ranked 1000. If they put Ranked 1000 in this collection, that would be a joke. Just flat out, that would be insane. So lastly, I know this video is really long because there's so many freaking card series. I just want to show you guys my Excel. So basically what I did is I did every single series in the game. I did the amount that I predict you'll need, the total of the collections, and this does factor in Tops Now and Spotlight for the future content drops and the stuff that came out today, like the Aussie Aldies and the Brandon Lau. The percentage, that's just the percentage of the series that you'll need. This is the total of all of these, and these are the totals minus the ones that I don't think are going to be in the collection. That's why these have these are blacked out here. I don't think Signature is, I don't think Prime is, don't think Milestone or Hall of Fame. Definitely don't think ranked 1,000, but I think all the rest of them are fair game, I would assume. And these are the raw costs, and then I just did like a function, so yes or no, and then I have the one no for the one that I'm not going to do, the Negro Leagues. That totals around 1.75 million, and I added a little inflation here because all the prices are going to go up once this comes out. It happens every single time people scramble, they try to get it, try to make progress. So adding the inflation of 10%, there's the formula, it's going to cost you around 1.93 million. Yes, that factors in live series collections and cards that you can get that are sellable from grinding the game. So if you grind in the game, it's going to cost you a lot less. But overall, that's a doozy. It's around 2 million for this collection. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys are new here, follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe on here on YouTube. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.